What is up, guys? Welcome to day 4 of this Swift tutorial, and in today's video we're going to be going over operators. So let's get started immediately by creating two variables, one which is going to be called a, and that's going to equal 9, and a second variable called b, which is going to equal 5. So in most programming languages, we have very simple ways of performing operations such as addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and so on. And we're just going to be covering that. So the first thing we need to be aware of is that we can easily add elements by using the plus symbol. So a plus b, and that's going to add the two numbers together. As you can see in the console, we had 14 printed out. Then of course we can decide to subtract by adding a minus, and that's going to give us 4 because 9 minus 5 is 4. And to multiply, we use an asterisk just like that. So 9 times 5 is going to give us this answer of 45. Then we can use a slash for division. And we're going to get 1 because we did not decide to specify a floating point number. If we go ahead and type in 9.0 and we rerun the program, we're going to get an error because both of these should match. So 9.0 by 5.0. And we're going to get 1.8. So that's one way to get a specific value returned from dividing, by turning it either into a double or into a float. And the final operator we need to know about is the modulus operator. And this gives us the remainder. So 5 goes into 9 one time, and it has a remainder of 4. If we change 5 to a number such as 8 and divide 9 by 8, we're going to have a remainder of 1, and that's why we have the 1 down there. But if we go back and change a to 10 and b is 5, we're going to end up with 0 because 5 goes into 10 two times and there's no remainder. And next up we have the assignment operators. So the most basic assignment operator we have is the equal sign. And what that does is assign a value to the variable name. But there's also shorthand statements, such as if we want to type in a equals a plus 1, for example, if we want to increment a each time, and let's go ahead and print a down here. We can do that, or we can use the shorthand statement, which is a plus equals 1. And we're going to get the same result. We can also do it with minus, so we're going to get 9, or we can multiply it, which is going to just give us 10 again, or we can also divide it, and that will also give us 10. So let's maybe change this to 5, and that will give us 2. And of course, the final thing we can do is use the modulus operator. So these are the shorthand statements for assignment operators. Up next, we're going to be going over comparison operators, and these are going to be used for making simple checks later on in the course. So the first one we want to do is go ahead and check whether a is equal to b. So if a is equal to b, then we're going to have true printed out to the console. Otherwise, if this statement is false, we're going to have false printed out. So if we run this program, we're going to get false because a is not equal to b. But if we decide to compare a to 10, we're going to get true because a is equal to 10. Then very similar to this, we can also check whether a is not equal to b by adding an exclamation mark, which is true because they are both different numbers. Then we have one that can check whether a is more than b, which is a right arrow, and that is true because 10 is more than 5. And is a less than b, we can check that as well, and that is false. Now there's also another combination which saves us some trouble. So let's pretend we have a and b, which are both 10. Now if we go ahead and check whether a is more than b, we're going to get false because a is not more than b, it's exactly the same as b. But to get around this, we can go ahead and check if a is greater than or equal to b. And this is going to return true because it is equal to b. And we can also do it the other way around, which will also return true because both of them are the same value. But as soon as we change this to 5, we're going to end up with the same statement as before. So a is not less than b, and it's not equal to b either. And the final operators we need to know about are the logical operators. And this helps us combine these logic statements together. So if we are checking that a is more than b, and we also want to check that a is more than, let's say, 3, We can do that just by adding the double ampersand. And what this does is check that both of these statements are true. And since both of these statements are true, it's going to return true. If one of these statements turns false, such as a is less than 3, we're going to return false because one of them is false. And let's go back and change this to what we had earlier, because I also want to show you that we can do this with as many as we want. So we can do and let's go a is more than 1 or more than 4. When we run the program, we're going to get true because all 3 of these checks are true. But let's get rid of that. And the next one I want to show you is the OR, which means, let's see how I can create a pipeline. How do you create a pipeline? Oh. I have no idea how to create a pipeline. I thought it would be easier than this. Which one's a pipeline? Maybe shift? Come on, it can't be this hard to find a pipeline. I have no idea. I'm so stupid. I found it. So to create the OR, all you have to do is create 2 pipelines. So this will check whether the first statement or the second statement is correct. So just for the purpose of this, we're going to pretend that a is not less than 3, because of course a is 10, and this is going to return false, while this is still going to return true. And this is going to print true because at least one of these are true. If both of them happen to be false, such as a is more than 15, we're going to get false returned because none of these are true. And if both of them are true, we're also going to get true because at least one of them are true. And the final operator we need to know about is the negation operator. So just by adding an exclamation mark in front of one of these statements, we can check the opposite. So right now we're checking that this is false. And if this is false, we're going to print true. And this is kind of confusing, but let's go ahead and run the program. And you can see, because this returns true, we're going to return false. If this returns false, we're going to return true. So if a is less than b, it's going to return true because a is more than b, and this just checks the opposite. But anyways, guys, that's actually all I wanted to cover today. It was pretty basic. It's about operators and basic algebra. And with that being said, as always, if you have any questions, feel free to leave it in the comment section down below, and I'll do my best to answer them. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video.